How's it going, guys? My name is Franco and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Crypto.com Supercharger event. We're going to have a look at basically what exactly is the Crypto.com Supercharger event, how we can utilize it best, and basically get the best rewards out of it possible. So the first question should always be basically, what is the Supercharger event? So Crypto.com allows users to add Crow to the Supercharger event in return for various cryptocurrencies depending on the current event. Crypto.com will allocate a certain amount of money towards each event, which users can earn by depositing their Crow to the event in order to earn a variety of cryptocurrencies depending on the current event. The amount earned by each user is determined by their allocation size relative to the pool size in which they are scored on to determine their distribution. Alright, so basically Crypto.com will have an event that they pick. They will allocate a certain amount of money towards it, and then users can deposit their money into the event in order to earn some rewards. So if we go back to, which page was this one, you can see right now we've got a Bitcoin Supercharger event going, which people can, put their money towards. There's currently an allocation of $250,000 worth of Bitcoin, which is really, really nice. And by depositing a Crow into this event, you can earn a yield in Bitcoin in return, but we'll get into that a little bit deeper in just a second. First of all, it's important to note who has access to this. So anyone with a verified Crypto.com account can access the Supercharger event outside of Hong Kong, China, Russia, and the USA. So for whatever reason, if you're in one of these 3 or 4 countries, you won't be able to access the Supercharger event, but for everyone else, so long as you have a verified Crypto.com account, you're able to access it. It's available to everyone, both on the main app on like the mobile device or the Crypto.com exchange. You can access to it. And for context, I'm just getting this information from the help page. So obviously, and it says here, any verified Crypto.com exchange user or app user is eligible to participate in Supercharger events. So all you need is to sign up, verify yourself, la-di-da, you can use this feature in Crypto.com. Okay, so why should you pick the Supercharger event over other options? So obviously Crypto.com have a variety of options as to what you can do with your money in the exchange. Now with the Supercharger event, or within the Crypto.com app, you could go to the Supercharger event. You could look at doing the Visa card program, the Earn program. You could look at DeFi staking. There's a variety of different things you could do with your money, with your Crow tokens. But the Supercharger event is really good because it's completely flexible and secure. So there's no lock-in periods. There's no fees to enter or exit. It's all done through the Crypto.com app. I'll show you guys how to do that later in the video. And there's nothing really to it. You just put your money in, and then you can start earning, whatever the event is. So in the case right now, Bitcoin, and you can start earning Bitcoin pretty well straight away, which is awesome. Users can use the Crow tokens to earn other tokens. So that's another good reason. Say, you have heaps of Crow and a particular event pops up that you really like the look of. Say it's Bitcoin, ETH, Doge, whatever it might be. If we have a look up here, here's all of the previous events. You can see that there's ETH, Bitcoin, Doge, Kudos, ETH again. A whole bunch of tokens. I honestly have no idea what these are. Well, most of them. But, if you're someone who holds a lot of Kronos tokens and you don't really know what to do with them, but you want to earn some more Bitcoin, you can see, 22% on ETH, 50% on Doge. You can earn some really, really good yields on tokens that you might really, really want. So that's always a good benefit of it as well. And as we just kind of pointed out, the Supercharger event often offers great yields. So if we go back to here, 22% on your Ethereum. There's nowhere, you're getting 22% on Ethereum. There's just nowhere in the centralized, exchange space that you're going to be getting that sort of return. Now, yes, of course, you have to deposit Crow into the event, hold it the whole time, but that is a really, really good APY to be earning if you can get into that. Alright, so the way the Crypto.com Supercharger event works is that there's 3 phases to each event, basically. So the first one is a charging period where you're going to add Crow to the Supercharger event, and that's where you're basically going to be earning a score, which will eventually become, how much you're able to earn as a reward. The middle period is the acceptance period. Users can users can now accept the reward. So there's about a 1 or 2 day block in between the charging period and the rewards period, where people need to accept their reward and basically in order to start earning. And then the reward period, where users are paid out daily in the crypto of the event. So you could imagine the charging period, which we are now in for this Bitcoin one. So we got 51 days left of the charging period. Now these often range from, they can go from 10 days to 30 days, all the way up to 60 days is the longest ones I've seen, which is like the one right now where, Bitcoin, you're in the charging period. So this is where you can deposit your Crow into the Supercharger event. And then depending on how much Crow you have relative to the size of the pool, which is 1.3 billion right now, you'll be scored on. We'll have a look at how that's calculated later, your score. So you'll be scored on, and then you can earn a chunk of that $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. So the charging period, deposit your Crow into it. You then get the acceptance period, and then if we go down here, you can see another Bitcoin event is actually now in the rewards period. So this one was about a 20% APY. It's currently in the rewards period. I believe this was a 60-day event as well. So there was 60 days worth of charging, and now there's a 60-day payout period. So every day for the next 60 days, people are going to be getting paid out Bitcoin, $250,000 worth of Bitcoin split, between all the different users of the Supercharger event who are getting paid out daily now that they've accepted their rewards. Okay, so how do we calculate the rewards? So we're going to have to go back to the help page for this one because they've got all of the calculations. Here we go, calculating your rewards. So basically, crypto.com are going to take an hourly snapshot of the crypto provided per user. So you don't just put 100 Crow in and, take it out one day later and then you've got 100 Crow allocated necessarily. It's not like you've got, heaps and heaps of, Crow in there. You've got to keep it in there. The longer you keep it in there, the bigger your score is going to be. So you could imagine, and here's a very simple way of doing it. A over B. So like the user's total lockup across the event duration and the total size of the pool. So for like a 30-day event, they get a bit confusing here, but basically a 30-day event, say you've got different amounts of Crow in during each time, it's just going to be like, because they're taking hourly snapshots, so if you put 100 Crow in from day 11 to day 20, that's 100 by 10 by 24, because you've got it in there for 10 days, 24 hours, a day, 100 Crow, and then you can see, you've put 200 Crow in for 10 hours per day from day 21 to 30. Then you have 200 Crow by 10 days by 10 hours. So then you end up getting a score of 44,000. So then that is your A in this rewards. So that's like when we're calculating your reward score, that is your A, like your score. And then you have to divide it over B, which is the total pool. So you could imagine, they've got it quite simple here, but basically imagine there's 4.4 million Crow every hour of every day in the 30-day event. They timed all that together. Then you get the score of 3 billion. I think, is that 3 billion? Yeah, 3,168,000,000 is then the B number. So you put, your A score over B score. So your score over the total pool. It then gives you basically your reward amount. So you're going to earn, 0.0014 of the total allocation amount. And then in this example, they've got 10 million Luna, which would be about 138 Luna across the total pool, which then gets divided out, every single day. You'll then earn a certain amount. But really importantly, you just have to remember that it's basically your allocation over the total allocation is going to be your portion of that, the allocation amount, which in this case, for the current Crypto.com Supercharger event is $250,000 US dollars worth of Bitcoin, and then you'll get a certain chunk of that. Now, if we scroll down a little bit further, what was I looking for? Alright, so are there any limits to how much I can contribute? So you have to contribute at least 100 Crow. Can I highlight? I can't. Oh, there we go. So 100 Crow is only $5 to $10 at the current prices, at the moment. So, pretty well the bare minimum amount. $5 to $10 is how much the minimum is. but there is no maximum. You can put as much as you like into the event, and you can lock up as many times as you'd like. So you could put, theoretically, you could put 100 million crow in if you had that much crow for some reason for 3 days, and then you could pull that 100 million crow out, and then you could put, 10 crow in, or actually, sorry, you got to put 100 crow in. Then you could put 100 crow in, and then you could pull out that 100 crow a day later. There's no lock-in periods. There's no, fees or anything. All it's going to do is just affect the end, your end allocation, because obviously you're playing around with your amount of the pool relative to everyone else. So if you are playing around with it a lot, you're probably just going to end up getting a lower reward in the end. And you can see here how to withdraw from a Supercharger event. You can withdraw your contribution partially or fully at any time in the Supercharger pool. So there's no fees or anything. And if you don't withdraw, say you don't withdraw from the Supercharger event and the 51 days clocks up, say you put all your crow in there, after the 51 days, nothing's going to happen to that crow. It's just going to roll over into the next event. So basically, after this Bitcoin event, there'll be another event straight after. And if you leave your crow in the Bitcoin Supercharger event, it'll just roll straight over to whatever the next one is, and you'll start earning whatever the next event is, basically. Alright, so with that, now let's have a look in the app. How can we deposit money into the Supercharger event? So right now, I'm just on the, hang on, there we go. I'm on the home page now of the crypto.com main app. Now, what we can do, we can either scroll down here. So if we scroll down towards the bottom of the page, you can see we've got Supercharger, and you can just click on that, and this will take us to the Supercharger, basically, homepage, very similar to what we've got up on the web. Right now, it's almost identical, really. It's just laid out a little bit differently. I think it is actually the exact same, but just laid out a little bit differently. But if we wanted to deposit money into it, we go to our accounts. Now, once we're in our accounts, you can see we've got all our different places where our money's basically going to be, the wallet, the earn program on the exchange, whatever it may be. But we just want to click on Supercharger. Once we click on that, you can see that right now we're in a Bitcoin charging period, which is the event we've got on screen right now. And underneath that is the Bitcoin reward period. That's the other. Now, if we scroll down again that's this program just here. This is the one that's in the rewards period that you can see on the, it's not really highlighting very well, but that's the one that's on the reward period right now. Now, say we wanted to deposit some of our Kronos tokens into the Supercharger event. All we got to do, if we look up at the top right hand of the screen, there's a plus button. We'll click on that. Say we agree to the terms and conditions, continue. Now I've got about 110 crow, so we might as well just put all of it in. Now let's transfer that 110 crow into the Supercharger event. Press transfer, confirm, get a face ID, and boom, you've deposited 110 crow into the Supercharger event. So now that is charging. So for the next 51 days, say I leave it in there, that's going to be, growing my score basically. So when the event eventually ends, I'm going to have a bigger portion of the total pool, which would be nice. And then I'm just going to leave that there now. Now, for the rewards period, let's have a look at this. So I did get into the last one a little bit, only a tiny little bit. So you're going to see, if we click on the last Bitcoin Supercharger event, the one that's in the Bitcoin reward period, you can see that I've been getting paid out daily for about the last 5 or 6 days. A very, very, very small amount of Bitcoin because I didn't deposit much crow into it. I just did it for a little bit. If we press view allocation, you can see that we've got our reward score, which then, the total event reward pool. And you can see our calculated reward, which is 0. A lot of zeros, 6. And then our daily rewards for the next 60 days is, 0. Whatever, 1. And you can see that we're currently on day 7 of 60 of the rewards period. So for the next 53 days, I'm basically going to be getting paid out that really, really small amount of Bitcoin. But obviously, say if I were to deposit more crow, because I haven't personally put a lot of crow into that. If I were to put more into it, I could actually earn a decent reward. It's just that I didn't put a lot in, because if you remember, this one had a 20% APY. So there's definitely pretty big potential for a really good reward on this. It's just that I didn't, take advantage of it as much as I probably should have. That's basically the Supercharger event. And now say we wanted to withdraw our credit, we won't, but we'll just show an example. You just press on the minus button, and then you can see there, we just press there, you can hit the max button to withdraw all of it, or we could just withdraw a little bit. We could withdraw 50, we could withdraw however much we want. There's no fees, no lock-ins, so we could do that easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But that's basically all of the Supercharger event on the app for now. Anyways, guys, that's basically it for the Supercharger event. It's not really a big part of crypto.com, I would say. I'd say it's a little bit niche, especially compared to like the Earn program or the Visa card program. But it's definitely got its place in the app, and, you know, people who want to utilize it. But basically, you just kind of have to remember, you know, why would you use this, you know, basically this part, you know, because if you're tossing up between using the Earn program or the Supercharger or the Visa card program or something, you know, this is basically it. It's just really going to be the lock-in periods, which is really nice not having any of those. And, you know, basically being able to earn a variety of different tokens at high APYs is pretty good. I do have a video on the Earn program separately, so I'll leave that in the description below for you guys to check it out, so you can compare the two. I also do have some referral codes in the description below for crypto.com. If you sign up and get one of the Visa cards, you'll get a $25 USD worth of Crow. Sorry, I was struggling there for a second. Or if you use one of the Australian exchanges, Coinspot or Swyftx, you'll get a $10 sign up bonus worth of Bitcoin, which is really, really nice. I've had a few people do that already, which is, you know, great to see you guys, you know, accessing the free money basically. Why not? Anyways, if you did enjoy, remember, like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Comment any questions you have down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.